Trustees meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for prayer.
Lord, you've given us such absolutely beautiful weather lately. We thank you for the great weather we had at Brimfield as well. Lord, just help us to always be mindful of these beautiful things you've given us, the flowers, the trees, the grass. Lord, we know in your word you've told us that you know when every sparrow falls to the ground, you've got the very hairs of our head numbered, so we know you care as well. Lord, today we ask for your wisdom. You told us in James that if we lack wisdom, to ask of you that you've got it liberally and you give it to us. So Lord, we ask that you give all of our leaders today the wisdom that they need. Be with all the guests that have comments to share, Lord, that you give them wisdom and discretion as well. Lord, help us all to work together for the good of Brimfield. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right, John, can we have roll call for attendance, please?
On attendance, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
We have a full board.
All right, thank you. All right, we will now move into announcements and correspondences. Just a quick announcement, if you are planning on speaking during the public comments portion of the meeting today, please take a moment, if you have not already done so, to sign in on the sheet. We have it up front here. If you need it, you can let us know. And we do ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes per person. So we'll set this up here in case anybody else wants to sign in to speak. Next, I do have a public announcement.
Hold on, Nick. I have a public comment, though.
Oh, okay.
Just want to recognize Bob Eby, who passed away last week. Been a trustee at Brimfield Township for 20 plus years. Had a business in town, a nationwide agency for multiple years. He was a big part of Brimfield Township. Actually played on the Bob Eby baseball team when he sponsored when I was a little kid. But he passed on, so I just wanted everybody to know that, maybe think about him a little bit tonight. So, thank you.
Thank you, John, for sharing that. I do have a public announcement from the Portage County Solid Waste Management District. The Portage County Solid Waste Management District is establishing a 30-day written comment period on the draft Portage County Solid Waste Management Plan update from May 20th, 2025 until June 19th, 2025. The draft plan has been prepared as required by Section 3734.54 of the Ohio Revised Code. This 2026 draft plan is an update to the current approved solid waste plan and includes a solid waste facility inventory, projections and strategies, a budget and a fees to finance the plan, facilities and programs to be used, and an analysis of achieving the state plan reduction goals. The district will accept written comments as required by Ohio Revised Code of the draft plan until update from May 20th to June 19th. The Portage County Solid Waste Management District will hold a public hearing to obtain oral comments regarding the draft plan on Thursday, June 26, 2025 at 11:15 a.m. at the Portage County Board of Commissioners office. So if you have questions or comments, you can reach out to the Solid Waste Management District, but this is their plan update. Are there any other announcements or correspondence?
Yeah, I got one. Hey, first of all, I want to thank the Zoning Commission. I want to thank the Zoning Commission and Tom Johnson for such a well-run meeting I have heard. But, the more and more, I read some of this stuff, I'm just frickin' amazed at all the misinformation that's out there. I'm telling you, these keyboard warriors, they can take something and take a little hill and turn it into a mountain. And I just think we need maybe just a couple minutes from Mike Ladd just to clarify some of this in this public forum. So Mike, do you mind just giving us a quick overview?
Sure. So, from here on out, it's changed now. We're not going to be advertising in the paper for the meetings. We are advertising on the website as well as social media. So that's where a lot of people are interested now in coming to the meeting. So we appreciate and we thank everybody that did attend the meeting. I think that makes, it's an eye-opener for not only Zoning Commission, but for the residents as well, as how we, create zoning resolutions and how it goes to the trustee level and to the regional planning level as recommendations. But the Zoning Commission, I think everybody found out that night, they're really working hard to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the community, not to go after people or not to target people. It's truly for the health, safety, and welfare. We're trying to, for example, one of the items on there is recreational vehicles and trailers and jet skis, and everything else that are parked, in some cases all the way throughout front lawns, and creating eyesores for the neighbors, and then we get complaints, and we have zoning cases and court cases. They're actually loosening the restriction. Right now, it's one of those vehicles is allowed on a lot, period. That's how it is now. And the zoning commission is looking to change that to say, okay, you could put one in the front yard on a concrete or gravel surface, and then whatever you want to put in your backyard and not seen from the street, go ahead and do it. But I think there was so much misinformation that I appreciate everybody attending the meeting so they could hear the truth. But thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move into the meeting guest portion. We have one meeting guest today, Karen Upson, to speak about Central School and Field Community Foundation. Our meeting guests are given 15 minutes to present information to the Board of Trustees. Karen, the floor is yours.
You want to pull your microphone down too.
Thank you.
It's sticking up in the air.
Good point, Sue. Thank you. I'm Karen Upson. I am a resident growing up here in Brimfield, living on the line of Brimfield and Suffield. So this is a very deep subject that I bring to you, and full-hearted. Many of you know that my husband, Don, and I wear many different hats. We are the pastors at the Brimfield Methodist Church, and you can't sometimes, as you all well know, can't be seen without one hat they assume is how the other hat was going to go. So I come with you with many different hats today, and one of the hats that I bring is a dedicated Field alumni, trying to keep the community connected to the townships and the townships connected to the community. So I have brought you some papers, and I'll ask you to tell me as they in the order they are. Sue, the first one on top, that was a Field community paper. Thank you. That paper is the Field Community Foundation, was started in 1988 with grants from the Department of Education in cooperation with Brimfield Township, Suffield Township, and Field Local Schools. It had a very successful value to the community, and then as I was called, my husband and I, to the ministry, we left that with the desires deep in our hearts to continue. And then with different leadership and the way things change in communities, it was dissolved, and we are trying to reinstate that to get the communities back from each township as leadership with the school board to be able to offer a focus to the community. We do feel we have good communications, all of us, with each other, but we just don't have that entity that is working together hand in hand on certain issues. So I gave you some information on that. The leadership of that board is from the school district. It was superintendent of the schools in the past. It was a township trustee from each of the townships and representing it. And it also brought together the opportunity of representation from the communities. So Brimfield was represented by their trustees at that time, so was Suffield, and so was the superintendent, Tom Schaup, at that time, and the assistant superintendent. So that we want to reestablish, just to be able to bring back community programming and community welfare and to the communities. And communication is the biggest thing. The second thing on there, you will see, I want to just make you aware that they are planning to abate and demolish the Central Elementary School. That was had at a school board meeting, and I, being a past school board member, understand the value of our properties and our taxes and the things we pay. I bring that so that you have an information on that there are very many groups of people very hurt by the idea that a building that could be used for community benefits and students and schools is being taken down. So they have started a petition to try to get that to be stopped, to have a feasibility study, to have the community input prior to the demolishing of any building within our school system. A building the taxpayers paid to put up, voted to put up, now have no vote to take down. So that is a big concern. So I gave you that information so you'd be aware of that. The next piece of paper you have in front of you is what? Anybody know where we're at? Thank you. The Field Alumni Association. The Field Alumni Association has started 5 years. Actually, it was part of the Field Community Foundation, which it will be again soon. We have for 5 years have been asking for a location within the central building for the alumni and their memorabilia. We've been denied 5 years in a row through our school board. But one of the things that we're trying to do is not give up. Some of that stuff has been just, cleaned out of our school systems, which hurts a lot of the alumni, like the Hall of Fame and those type of things that were there at one time. The second thing is in that Field Alumni, we have every year, this will be the 5th year, had a walk through the school, offering it to all classes. And we're working well with other classes, trying to get a database and to help classes find their students and and that would be a great resource to both you and the communities and the townships and to the schools, because let's face it, the product of the field schools, it'd be nice to get some product back. And so that's why I put that in there, so you'd be aware that the Alumni Association is constructed and trying to bring back alumni. I think the last thing in there you will see is just information on some upcoming activities through the church, a car show we're doing with the Kelso House, and also, let me stop and think, a yard sale, community yard sale where anybody can come set up in the parking lot or use our church building, and we charge them nothing, just so that we can be able to use the facility we feel we are stewards of. I have no more to say. I ask you if you have any questions for me, and again, thank you, and I'm so honored to be able to speak with you.
Now, is this a done deal with the school?
It is, as March 10th I have the minutes that it was voted on, and the company was hired at that, it was being hired. We don't know if there were 3 bids when on the line, when you look at those websites.
For the demolition?
For the demolition and abatement of Central Elementary School. The example that was part of that board meeting is not accessible on the online access, so we have to go to the school and try to obtain that.
And what's their plans with the property after it's gone?
The plans, according to one of the board members I spoke with, said they don't know. They're thinking ball fields. My concern, and thank you to your zoning office, was able to print out the copy of the plot. There's 14, which I knew from being a board member, that there are 14 acres there. And some of it is being farmed, and it's already flat and wonderful for our ball fields or soccer fields. It seems to be a need within the communities of both Brimfield and Suffield. But it doesn't mean taking down a building to put up a soccer field or a ball field or whatever they want to do. They don't know. It's not been planned out. There's no long-range plans for that in writing in their board minutes. That meeting, just an FYI, meeting only lasted 11 minutes from the beginning of the meeting to the end of the meeting. So we just feel as a community we have a right to be able to ask questions. We have a right to be able to find out what's going on and where our tax money is going to be used and what kind of values they have on our property and buildings. Does that help you, Mike?
A little bit. I thought that building was in good shape.
It is in good shape. I've been in and out of that building. Now, lack of maintenance or building care may have some reflection on it, but the building is in good shape. And just one more little point. That building and our community and our schools have set nationwide recognition for the all-day, everyday kindergarten. We also got recognized not only for that, from a kindergarten, and a lot of those alumni from kindergarten to 6th were in one class and went for 6 years or 7 years with their classmates before they were put into the system of the middle school. And that got a lot of recognition. The academy got a recognition, even though that may not be understood by people, but that also, and there is a great young man that was an autistic child who graduated onto the next level of schooling and onto the college, and his love was in the theater part of that school and the music. So there are so many things that, as you said, about misinformation. Mike, you said about misinformation out there, and it has really hurt a lot of people, and we hated to see it hurt the people in this community, because our first love is for the people in the community.
Well, maybe you ought, I mean, it seems like everyone's on Facebook. Maybe you ought to do a post with the true information.
Yes, we're trying to do that.
It seems like where everyone is now.
Yeah, and thanks to Nick, I did ask him about Facebook.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything else I can share with you? Well, this is heartfelt to all of us, and I know it's a heartfelt issue to you too. So I thank you, and God bless you for the work that you do in the community.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we will now move into meeting minute approvals. I will entertain a motion to approve meeting minutes for 4/30/2025 regular meeting.
So moved.
I got to abstain.
But that's the one you were here for.
That's the one you were here for.
4:30?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, 5-2 is gone. Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll entertain a motion for the 5/2/2025 special meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, Mike?
Abstain.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, and now we'll move on to the meeting agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second for discussion.
We do have one amendment we need to make. We'll add it under zoning and economic development, and it's to accept the resignation of Scott Elting from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
So that'll be C.
Just put it under number 4 to, so under new business.
Oh, that's number 4.
And I just put it as number 4.
Okay.
So 4. What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Scott Elting, 1T.
Okay. Yep, okay.
Okay. And then I also need to amend the agenda for an executive session today. And then we'll just go after fiscal office.
Do you have a executive session sheet?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can I get
Which item under the executive
So
session?
that'll be to discuss the discipline or investigation of charges or complaints against the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual unless the public employees, officials, licensee, or regulated individuals request a public hearing.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Purchase orders. I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchase orders as presented.
So moved.
I'll second for discussion. I brought to Holly's attention, and we did mark it on there, but just so the board is aware, there is 2 purchase orders for the police cruiser. One was from the JED funds, one was from the police department funds. They did clarify that the purchase is initially from the police funds, and then the JED fund's gonna reimburse, so that's why we had to do the dual purchase order.
We're still waiting for a draw from Talmadge.
Okay,
In order to get his car going faster, that was the way we had to do it.
yeah, I just wanted to clarify, because I saw
Okay.
2 of them in there for the same price. Any other comments on purchase orders?
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll now entertain a motion to accept the warrants as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, we will now move into our public comment section. There is a 3-minute limit per person. We thank you in advance for being here today and sharing your comments. We will be just entertaining the comments. This will not be a back and forth discussion. We'll start with the first person on the list and we'll go in order. So Bob Buell, you have the floor first. You could step up to the podium for us, please.
What? Imagine that. Yeah. Came here at 5:30 in the morning. Make sure I got this, yeah. Well, listen, I know it's National Police Appreciation Week, and we appreciate all you do for us. And Mr. Zoning, that house on the corner of Mogador and Old Forge Road, 4 years we put up with no mowing, junk cars, and whatever. Now it's sitting empty, and it's been cleaned up, but the grass isn't mowed. The garage door is not there. I'm surprised squatters haven't moved in. But you haven't helped us once in all these years. The last 8 months, no grass mowed, no nothing done. I mean, the county could they could bring a brush hog in and clean it up. But I don't understand. And then down the street at Jeff Eddy's property, it's now become a junkyard. There's cars everywhere, and they have no bathroom facility, so there's a portage on there, and tow trucks are coming and going and bringing cars. I don't know if it's a chop shop or what it is. I mean, can't we do something about cleaning up the neighborhood?
Sure. So I wish you'd have been at the meeting, zoning commission meeting Thursday. 'cause
I
we
tried to
discussed-
get here, but I couldn't do
We
it.
discussed this, so you would have been one of the few that actually, they want to loosen restrictions. You were there, actually.
Sir.
And they want to loosen restrictions, and most of the residents in this community that showed up don't want any restrictions on this.
Mike?
And the problem that,
Mike?
yes.
Yeah, we're just gonna take it under advisement, and then we can talk either with them after the meeting.
Okay.
Or they can schedule a time with you, but in the public section, this is just where we take
Okay,
information in.
fair enough.
Well, I mean, okay.
Okay.
All right, but there was one other thing I was gonna mention that, in safety concerns, the four-way stop there at Mogador and Old Forge Road 3 years ago was supposed to be a roundabout. Haven't heard anything, nobody knows anything, I don't know how they could do it anyways. But the four-way stop, the guys come there and watch the stop sign once in a while, and, I mean, right on through. It's like living next door to a drag strip. I mean, they take off down the road there, and the guy that owns Rab Trucking lives down the street. He parks his truck at an angle, because if a car comes off the road, it's gonna go through his house. But he said, but we appreciate everything you guys do, and anything that you can do for us. Oh, and recycling, if I'm short, she kept the license for garbage transfer, and I don't know if this new thing includes that now, since they're looking for more money to make, but I know it has increased, and they've cleaned the place up, and it's great how they do it. But the trucks that go by there every day, you know, recycle trucks, I mean, they shake the whole house. I mean, they go by there all the time. But if they start that garbage transfer to make more money, we're in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next on our list is going to be Tom Johnson.
Good morning. My name is Tom Johnson, and with my comments today, I'm here speaking as an individual community member, and I'm representing myself. I'm speaking for myself. I'm representing no one other than myself. I'm a property owner who pays property taxes to the township of Brimfield and who lives in Brimfield and supports the community in which I live. The special interest groups do not. I'm here to speak in regards to the special meeting that the Brimfield trustees held on 5/2/2025, in which the trustees approved borrowing $800,000. After watching the comments of the meeting, it would be clear to anyone that Brimfield Township is undoubtedly insolvent, with little to no money available in the general fund to pay for the day-to-day expenses of the township. So what does this mean? Does this mean that the chief of police will have to ask his patrolmen to use their personal funds to put gas into police cruisers? Or does it mean that the fire chief will have to lay off firefighters so the fire chief can make his budget? It's clear from the conversation that a $800,000 loan with $100,000 going into the general fund at an interest rate of 4.7% over 15 years is a significant indication that the township is insolvent. So the question is, how did we get here? How was the fire station allowed to go so far over budget? And who was in charge of monitoring these expenses? Why was the general fund tapped excessively to the point where an infusion of $100,000 of money borrowed from the Huntington National Bank is needed? Well, we surely can make some suggestions as where the township resources were spent. First, $300,000 was spent acquiring a library. How about the $100,000 or so that was past years were spent for the Brimfest? Then we have a large amount of money that was spent on parks and soccer fields. Now the township wants to make you believe that it all can be blamed on COVID. You can't blame COVID on expenditures that you voluntarily decide to make. Reviewing the special meeting minutes at 30 minutes, 31 seconds, the fiscal officer states, in a year or two, we're going to be fine again. To me, that's an incredibly large amount of time due to the fact that emergencies arise, and to be insolvent for 2 years puts the township at severe risk. At 34 minutes and 11 seconds in the meeting, the the fire chief states, quote, "I'm not prepared for hundreds of thousands out of my budget. Please don't take it from me right now. I mean, an extra 100, I don't have it. I was prepared to get a fire truck and an ambulance, more personnel, and have negotiations coming." These comments bring to light the criticalness of a particular issue of Brimfield Township's financial insolvency. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll now have Don Harris.
Oh, I just sign the paper in case I want to say something. I'm cool. Thank
You
you.
good? Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Robert Radovich. Floor is yours, sir. 3 minutes.
Hello, I'm Robert, and I'm a relatively new member of the Township Zoning Commission. And just 2 very quick comments. I was here at our last zoning meeting last Thursday, and at the beginning it was contentious. There's some members of the Zoning Commission here today, and I was a little disconcerting. I was a little bit taken back. But honestly, for the folks that were not here at the meeting, by the end of the meeting, the Zoning Commission had the people eating out of their hands. I mean, there was a real sympathy and a real back and forth. I was proud of our commission, and I think you would have been too. Okay, I have all of my printing done at Night Printing. It's located more or less behind Wendy's on 43, and it's funny when people know that you're in some capacity with the township. They want to, oh, hey, by the way, I've got a problem, and I said, well, you ought to come to a township meeting and present it. And they said, oh, I have to work, blah blah blah. But they said, would you say something? So I said, sure. I don't know if anyone has seen any folks that are panhandling at the exit ramps of the 76. I think especially going eastbound here at our intersection. But the folks at Night Printing said that there is a gentleman, he's been there for about a year, and that he's occupied the parking lot, Wendy's parking lot, and that because of lack of resources, he has no place to put trash and various things. It's really become a problem. And they're just concerned that it might perpetuate maybe more incidences of this. There's 2 cars, and apparently the poor gentleman lives in there in the wintertime, starts it up and gets it warm when he can. And all that Night Printing was asking me to do was just present this to you all, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. All right, that will be the conclusion of our public comments. Pass this down to John, please, for record. We will now open up the floor to safety concerns from department heads or board members. Any safety concerns that we need to be aware of? No. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move into the business section of our meeting, and we will start with Police Department. Captain Atkins, the floor is yours.
Thank you. See the report that Chief Mosley submitted. We are up 800 calls from this time last year, so we continue to grow in call volume. We had a discussion earlier about our cruisers. Our cruisers are in at Park Ford. We're going to set up with John a meeting. I think we're going to pick them up next week, but they are in, and we will be waiting to get in the queue to get them outfitted. New business, I believe that Chief Mosley put a contract for the board to look at in the Dropbox for everyone with focal forensics. So I'll give you the basic overview of what focal forensics is. With the increase of body cams and our cruiser cams, we are getting more and more public records requests for the video. And we are required to release that video, but state law also requires us to redact that video. And redacting takes time, redacting takes software, and we're spending time that our clerks don't have really watching video. If you can imagine, if we have one call, and I'm going to use a specific example of a public records request we had recently. We had one call, 3 officers were there, 3 car cameras, 3 body cameras. That means our clerk had to watch an hour-long video 6 times to write down the times, to redact the personal information that's either read out loud, or if anything happens to show up on the video screen of a computer screen, or anything that is required by law to be redacted, she had to sit and watch all that. Then we have to pay a company to process the redaction. So we go in and say remove audio for this time frame to this time frame, blur the screen from this time to this frame. this time frame, that cost us a couple $100 just for one case. With this increasing, we've looked at some options, and the state of Ohio passed legislation last year that allows us to charge the public for redacting video. And we want to move into an agreement with a company called Focal Forensics. We found out about this company from Talmadge Police Department who uses it. And how the system would work is when the public records request is made, and this would be not a victim, not a prosecutor, not defense attorneys. This would be the YouTubers, the TikTokers who just request body cam video so they can monetize it and put it on the internet. So if they aren't actively involved in this case, we would use Focal Forensics and actually bill the person for that time. So how it would work is the person who requests the video would make a public records request for what video they want redacted. We would send the request to Focal Forensics. They would make an estimate. They provide the estimate to the person. That person then pays Focal Forensics for the work, and Focal Forensics does all the redaction and provides the body camera. We are removed from the process of having to watch all the videos, having to collect money, so we aren't taking credit card payments or cash payments, which we don't want officers or our clerks being involved in money handling. It's just a smooth way to use what the Ohio legislature has given us to let someone else do the work. We did our background check on Focal Forensics, and they are CJIS certified, so they have to maintain their certification with the FBI to be able to hear the things they're going to hear in redacting. But this seems like the best route for us to go, other than hiring employees, which other agencies have actually done, hired people just to sit and redact video. This seems like the best route for us, where our employees aren't doing it, we aren't collecting money, we aren't sending bills out. It's all handled through Focal Forensics. And they, I don't want to say more than anything, but their computing power and their software is what's really important too. Because what we do, you pay what you get for, or you get what you pay for. So the company we use now is probably in the middle when it comes to redaction. There are better companies out there that will track a face through a whole video and blur a whole face of a victim. Just for example, if you're a victim and we come in your house, you can ask for that to be redacted. So the whole house could be blurred, so you're a victim. The public can't see what your house looks like, which is reasonable. That takes a lot of time for someone who doesn't have a high processing computer to do it. This will all be done somewhere else. They provide it. We meet the state law for public records, and we aren't involved in taking any kind of payment.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to enter into the agreement with Focal Forensics LLC for video forensic software on behalf of Brimfield Township Police Department. I could have a second for discussion.
I'll second it for discussion.
Chris, I have a question. So the YouTuber or anybody that's not involved in the situation, that they're going to have to call them now, right? And then upfront charges will be charged to them in order to do the services before they waste their time doing it, or how's that work?
They would come to us,
Okay.
and they would request the incident. Then we have to go and see what is available. All right, so we have 2 body cams, we have 2 cruiser cams, they're this long, and we expect this to need to be redacted. We would send that to Focal Forensics. They would look at that and build an estimate based on how much work they're going to have to do. They send the estimate back to us, we give it to the person, and they approve it or don't approve it, and then they pay Focal Forensics, and then they start doing the work.
So there actually isn't any money coming from us?
No, we never touch it.
It's all handled with a person that wants the information?
Correct. Now there are limits. It's $75 per hour per video with a max of $750 per video, which, that'd be a really long video for that. But if you have a case where we have 5 officers working and it's a major event and 5 people show up, you at least are going to have 5 body cameras. So there could be, on a major incident, 10 hours of body cam video. So they could get close to that limit, but there is a max. So we have agreed that we have to pay an overage if it goes over the $750 per video. And we've agreed that we aren't going to charge victims for a copy of their own video, or we would cover that cost Well, the prosecutor's office and defense, we don't have to redact those things, but for the public, there are certain things. Like if we pull you over and you read your social security number to us, or you read your driver's license to us, we can't release that, and we shouldn't release that. So someone asks for that body cam video, we redact that, and we just remove the audio from it. But if that traffic stop's half an hour long, somebody has to watch half an hour and make sure nothing is said or seen that can't be released.
Would you be developing an internal policy then that outlines when we charge and when we don't charge, just so
Yes.
there's clarification and there's not that gray area?
We have a model policy right now that's already, it's probably going to be the final policy, but Chief Mosley does have a policy ready to go.
And that's being reviewed by council, or you got it from another department?
Legal.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions about this process? I think if it's going to reduce time and effort for your staff there, it's worth it. If we got the legal authority under the new Ohio codes.
Yeah.
Hearing no other questions, I'll call for a roll call vote.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Are
Chris, I'm going to
any-
sign this, Chris, and get it to you. Can you get a copy of, there's a signature page on there.
Yes, the only other thing I have is, that doesn't need board approval, but we have the sign-on bonus for Officer Matthews. She started this week. I just need John to sign it, so pass it down.
And that was approved in previous
Yeah,
meetings.
it's approved previous meeting.
Pass it down, John.
So I'll get this, and then can you get the person who signed it from forensics and then get it back to us for a copy?
Yes.
Thank you.
It'll probably be next week.
That's fine. I just want to get it back. You pass that down to Chris.
All right, are there any questions for the police department at this point? All right, hearing none, we'll move into the fire department. Chief Mullally, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you. Mine are just updates for the public and the board. On old business, we ordered an ambulance to add to our fleet, which would be a third ambulance that would not be reducing one, it would be adding to our fleet, which again would give us 3. We ordered it a year ago, talked to the rep yesterday, and we are scheduled delivery last quarter of 2026. So we're looking at a 2.5-year build. That is what they originally told us. I just wanted to give the board an update. It takes that long. And as we move forward into the fire truck, and hopefully we'll get the federal grant, hopefully, it'll be around the same 3-year build for that also, but we're not there yet. New business, senior luncheon was very successful. It was a beautiful day. I want to thank everyone who came out and helped, public and employees. We'll keep trying to do it in the spring. I think that worked well for us. If you remember in the past years, we always did it lined up next to Brimfest, and that was a lot of work. So moving it to the spring worked well for us on that. And then the entry-level firefighter update, applications were accepted, physical agilities were completed. We have 8 to interview by the lieutenants this week, and they're starting those today. We have 5 today and 3 tomorrow. Next step will be chief's interviews, and then I'll hopefully present 3 to the board for approval. And that is all I have.
Is there any updates on the fire engine grant?
No. Well, yes and no. The federal grant, or federal government has opened the grants back up. Every Monday, you can go on FEMA and look to see if you're accepted. I assume as soon as I see it, I'll know. Okay. So, but it could go every Monday for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And if you would get one, it's what, 3 years out still?
Yep, 3-year build.
So we had to get the funding before we could start the build piece, but I mean, it's a pretty large grant. What was the amount on that grant?
Right around $1 million is what I put in for. So, and we would owe 5%. So it's well worth it to put in for it and wait.
Okay. Any other questions for fire department? All right, hearing none, we'll move into administration. Holly, the floor is yours.
New business, I'm looking for approval to move forward with ARC Contracting of Ohio for $9,573.47 to replace siding and gutters on the town hall garage. No PEC fund reimbursement will be requested.
Yeah.
I'll
make
entertain
that.
a motion for
Yeah,
that.
I'll make that motion.
And
I'll second that.
For discussion, so this is gonna be for the siding and gutters, and we do have an approved out there for the doors already too, correct?
Yes, so that's a different project item. The cost is below the amount that has to come to the board, but we would get the garage doors replaced also, so this is a separate item. I did get 3 quotes for this: ARC Contracting, A&J, as well as Renew Home Exteriors, and this one came in the lowest of the 3.
Okay.
So I understand that NOPEC, the NOPEC has a fund reimbursement. We will request that.
Yes, yeah, we'll request,
It
we
will
should,
be
we
paid
would.
for by a grant.
We would be eligible for full reimbursement, so that amount, although we are paying up front, we would get a full reimbursement for that amount.
And Sue, we already have the amount that was offered to us by NOPEC, so it's sitting in a fund. This has to be reimbursed for things that fit into the classification that they could that does, so they'll
That's
just
a
bless it.
grant
So it's using, it's that NOPEC Energy Fund, right? So this is not out of our tax base?
Right.
Correct,
Correct, thank you.
When do we get our next NOPEC?
next year.
Very good partner.
Yeah. All right, we have a motion on the floor. Are there any other questions on the renovation of that garage? Hearing none, roll call, please.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
You guys are also going in there cleaning it out, aren't you?
They have been. Fire's been cleaning it out regularly, and the park side needs cleaned as well, but it's substantially better than it has been.
Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff in there from
Still
when
quite a
we
bit.
had a Chamber of Commerce, right?
Yeah. Next item, approval needed to appoint Attorney Patrick Watts, who's willing to serve as a neutral for a pre-disciplinary hearing.
Yeah, we'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And that's all I have.
Are there any questions for administration?
No, she's doing a great job.
All right, hearing none, we'll move into zoning and economic development. Mike Ladd, the floor is yours, sir.
Thanks, Nick. Permit fees to date are $28,447.80. Zoning department will be out of office Thursday, May 15th for all-day training by the APA of Northeast Ohio. I'll need board approval. The Brimfield Township Zoning Commission requests the Board of Trustees to set a public hearing prior to June 10th, 2025 regarding the prohibition of recreational marijuana. Documents were submitted to you guys in OneDrive.
It's not the
Well,
we're
it
prohibiting
probably-
them being able to
prohibiting,
sell it.
yeah.
All right, so we need to talk about available dates. The next trustee meeting would be the 28th. Do we have bid opening on that date, or what date was the bid opening?
The bid opening is on the 28th.
And we're
at
doing that at what?
7:45.
7:45. Do we want to hold the public hearing on this topic before that meeting, or do we want to hold an evening public hearing for this?
I would just
I guess I
hold
would look to Mike Ladd and say, are we expecting a large crowd?
I haven't had any comments on this yet, so.
I just do it earlier.
In anticipation that there potentially could be a few people speaking, should we do it at 7:15 instead of 7:30 so that we
Yeah.
don't interrupt?
I'm
the
up
bid
at
opening?
5 o'clock.
I take it back.
I
I
can get my
think
steps in right here.
I think there was one individual at the last meeting that mentioned it, so.
I just don't want to run into the bid opening.
Right.
That's my only concern.
Yep.
Could you do 7:15?
Mhm.
Mike and Sue, would that work?
Oh, I'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
As long as
Yeah,
I
okay.
remember.
We'll send a text. All right, I'll entertain a motion to hold a public hearing regarding the prohibition of recreational marijuana distribution and sales for May 28th at 7:15 a.m.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So I'm requesting board approval to move Board of Zoning Appeals. Actually, I should move one up if that's
Yeah,
okay.
you just skip down to number 4 and do that first.
Yeah, sure. So I need the board acceptance of Scott Etling from the Board of Zoning Appeals, his resignation.
I'll entertain a motion for the resignation of Scott Etling from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
And I'll make that motion, and we should thank Scott for his service in some form.
Yeah, I think, Holly, can you draft up a letter and outline the number of years of service? I know Scott has been on that board for a long time.
For a long time.
Has done a really good job, and had a lot of good comments and interaction.
I agree.
I appreciate it. Sad to see him go,
Yes.
but tell him thank you from the board, and we'll draft up a letter for him also.
Thank you. I think it just, we're conflict right now.
Yeah. All right, we got a motion on the floor to accept
All
the
in favor?
resignation.
I'm sorry, all in favor?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
With that, I'm asking board approval to move the Board of Zoning Appeals alternate Clayton Popick to full-time member of the Board of Zoning Appeals.
I'll entertain the motion to move the BZA alternate member Clayton Popick to the Board of Zoning Appeals member position.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion for discussion. This is the typical path, right, Mike? We
It
gotta
is.
move them from that alternate because they're building up their skill set, and then we move them to that full-time
Correct. Yep.
position.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, Clayton's been on as an alternate for years. Since I've been here, he's been on as an alternate.
Yeah, I say, we don't have a lot of movement on the BZA, it feels like.
No, we don't. No.
So-
They usually stay.
All right.
All in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So I'll need trustee approval to advertise for the Board of Zoning Appeals alternate member.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
Discussion on that one. I would like to ask the board, as we do this, we've always done this in the past where they just interview with Mike and then you bring recommendations to us. I think it would be in the best interest of the board that after they go through the interview, if you have your top 3 candidates, if you have 10 of them come in, top 3, if there's only 1, then there's just 1. But then they, as part of that interview process, they sit down with each board of trustee member,
Yeah.
so that we get to know them before we make that recommendation ourselves.
That's fine. And Holly usually does the interview with me as well.
Okay. Yeah, and I know you do the interviews together, but I just think it's a
Yeah.
chance for us to get to know them and ask
That's
questions
fine.
that they may have.
Sure.
And instead of doing it as an interview and making it a public hearing for them, having them meet with each of us one-on-one.
Sounds
before
good.
that.
Yep.
How does the board feel about that? Mike and Sue?
I think that would be a good move.
Just so we have a
I
better
agree.
understanding of who's on the
Yeah,
board.
we could do a one-on-one, and I could see what they look like, and they could see what I look like.
There you go. Learn a little bit about them.
Well, we'd have to structure it somehow. You don't want someone having to run up here 3 different times to meet with us.
We could just set it up in one day and just do it one evening or one day when all 3 of us are available.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've really done a good job, venting people to work for us, so.
Yeah, I think they do a good job too. I just think it's important is if we're making that appointment that we have that interaction with them also.
Okay, all in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And then I have one more item that I'd like to add pursuant to the public comments today. I just want to make it clear so that there's no rumors or any kind of things going on Facebook. The township does not enforce high grass. We have never enforced high grass. We don't have a zoning resolution for high grass, nor do we have any zoning ordinance requiring maintenance of structures. So in the court size, this particular case that the gentleman brought up was in court, and the court enforced the junkyard to be cleaned up, which it has been. There's high grass and the structure is getting dilapidated, but we don't have zoning resolutions. We're not a city. So,
Thank you for that clarification.
sure.
Are there any other questions or comments for our zoning department and economic development? All right, hearing none, we'll move into road department. Dave, floor is yours.
All right, thanks, Nick. Some old business, I just wanted to let you know Devin Ship, our full-time employee, started this week. Our part-time employee Todd Johnson started this week, and our part-time employee Tom Weiss started last week. So we're up to the full staff now, getting things going. We put the chain up across the entrance of the plaza from the town hall and the fire department. As you can see, it's over there. So, and it has cut down cars singing through here, I think. Our state bid solid order has been put in. Now we just got it. Now it's the time to sit and wait and see what the prices all come back at, which normally doesn't get back until about July. So we're on that. This year we did do a 500-ton summer fill and a 1,200-ton winter fill. So we split it up with the new things they got going this year. Some new updates. I just want to thank the residents for passing the road levy. It helps us keep moving forward and doing maintenance on our roadways. Right now we're working on cemetery cleanup and some maintenance at McGuire Park. We have a few things to do there. We've been fixing some plow damage that we did when we were plowing this year, so We got that pretty much taken care of. To let everybody know, I will be on vacation starting this Sunday through the 24th of May. So I'll be off for a week, but I will have things lined up for everybody to do while I'm gone. So, and then I need a board's approval to accept the 2025 chip and seal project bid from Roniak at a cost of $193,321.05.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the chip and seal 2025 project bid.
Okay, Dave, I'm gonna make that motion.
And I will second that motion. Dave, are you able to list off the roads that are going to be covered under that?
Oh, I think I forgot to bring that with me.
Can you put that on the agenda?
Let me see. It's in the
Oh,
book.
okay.
I know it's Malloy, Burnett, Powder Mill, Klein. Let's see, there it is. Yeah, Malloy Road from Sandy Lake to the Kent City limits. Klein Road from Malloy to the Franklin Township line. Powder Mill from Powder Mill to Franklin Township line. Burnett from Malloy Road to Cul-de-sac. Brimfield Drive from State Route 43 to Edson Road. Howell Road from State Route 43 to Sherman. Sachs Road from Sunnybrook to Mogador Road. And Newton from Talmadge City limits to Old Forge. It comes out to about 6.7 miles.
Any other questions on the bid project? Hearing none, we'll roll call, please.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
And I'll need you all to sign the book.
You pass it now, we can sign it now.
Yep. That's what you guess it's All right, the next item I have up for board approval is the purchase of a 2025 F-350 pickup truck from Sarshone Ford at a cost not to exceed $52,000.
Okay, Dave, I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Second for discussion. So this is going to be a replacement of your primary?
Yeah, my primary. We will keep my primary for the plowing and salt and everyday use. It's just an added truck.
So we're adding a truck to the fleet?
Yeah, because we lost the zoning truck that we did use for a while, that we gave Cassie for the parts for a while. Well, that truck frame broke on it and stuff, so this is another truck to give us more access to go out instead of taking the big dump trucks when we don't need to.
Okay. And then this was coming out of your budget, or where's it coming out?
Yeah, no, it's coming out of my budget.
Okay.
How long turnover, or is it available now, or?
Yes.
It's gonna be white?
No. I went with a different color.
Okay.
The whites were pretty tall looking. I don't know. We're going bright red again.
Yeah.
Back the way the township stuff was. I can't get one in yellow, so I could go get it painted, but you can't get one that Indiana yellow. So.
And then you'll send it out for lettering.
Yes, it'll get lettering and stuff. It actually comes with the plow package wiring. So when you do get a plow and lights put on, they're just plug-ins now instead of having to splice in the wiring and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's got all that options on it now too.
A lift package and monster tires?
That's already pretty up there as it is. We'll probably have to put, like, if the truck ever goes into the service side of hauling the salt spreader, we'll have to put airbags on it to keep the weight lifted up off the back some and that stuff. But that's all down the road.
Okay.
All right, any other questions on the purchase of the F-350 out of the road department fund?
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, and that's all I got, and thank you.
Enjoy your vacation, you need one.
We'll see how many times my phone rings while I'm on the road.
No, turn it off.
You're on vacation, enjoy it.
Turn it off.
I'll be on my phone like normal. It's paving season.
Dave, I've gotten a few feedback, comments, and questions from some residents about Beechcrest. What's our plan with the road back there? I know it's always been a little.
Beechcrest, there's a lot of catch basins and crossover pipes that need replacing.
Okay.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to pave the road and then go back and dig in a year or two replacing. So we're going to do a prep work. And we did start on a few of them last year. There's some prep work to be done beforehand. So you're probably at least a minimum of a year to 2 years out. There's a lot of berming that needs to be done to that roadway. Again, there's a lot of prep work. And right now, I mean, I have been talking with Mike Collins a little bit about Beechcrest. We're trying to figure out what's the best avenue for the paving of that roadway. You know, I mean, if we went, I mean, the estimate we got, say 6 years ago, it was $880,000 just to do phase 1 off of 43. We're trying to figure out the best avenue for it. This way, you don't have to go in and partial pave. You know, we don't want to pave these 3 streets and then have to go to these 3 streets. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. As of right now, until we get the catch basins and crossover pipes done, it'll be on hold.
But we're working on catch basins and crossovers,
Yes.
like slowly each year. That's part of the repair plan.
And it's not an inexpensive process. It's normally about $3,000 to $5,000 for each one, and there's quite a few of them in Beechcrest.
And we had one of those pipes blow up back there, right? What, 2 years ago? Where we had to do that emergency, was that Cherry?
Cherry went right there, yep.
Yeah, Cherry.
Okay, I appreciate the update on Beechcrest. Any other questions for Road Department? All right, hearing none, we'll move into Parks and Rec. Cassie, floor is yours. Go ahead.
Thank you. Old business, McGuire Park updates. I forgot, it's been a month since we've met last, but the demolition of the 2 outbuildings there has been completed. So those have been removed, and we've purchased trash cans, dog waste stations, and trail markers for the park. So those trail markers should hopefully be going up this week, weather depending. And we're proposing a ribbon cutting event for Saturday, June 7th. So we are working on putting that together. Some updates on Brim Festivals. On June 21st, we have Tutta Truck. We have 23 vehicles registered, inflatables, carnival games, costume characters, and face painting. And then for Let's Glow Brimfield, we're working on booking the attractions. I've got that final contract that I'm going over now in the silent disco. And then we're also doing an outdoor movie for that event. And then on September 13th, we have Swamptown Fest. We have 5 food trucks secured already, and we are currently advertising for merchant vendors. We've gotten a couple responses back already. We have booked Hunter Skeens and the Forerunners for this event. They've played at Brimfest the last few years, so I'm excited to have them back. We are working on booking the inflatables, attractions, and axe throwing. And then I'm working with the Kelso House to get some historical photos that we'll be printing out and putting on large paper, and some historical facts to have at the event and for our social media campaign to raise awareness about the event. I also wanted to thank Joe and Dave for their help getting the AEDs installed at Lions Park and at Town Center Park. Those are up now. And then updates, we have our upcoming program and events. This Saturday, we have the Sioux Field Spring Cleanup Event and Flea Market at Lions Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we've had a series of senior fitness programs going on. So on May 21st, we have a Gentle Flow Yoga program at 6 p.m. at the Brimfield Community Center. And on June 5th, we have chair yoga at 10 a.m. at the Community Center. And then we recently received a $400 sponsorship from the Village of St. Edward to continue our yoga programs for seniors. So thank you to them for that. And we also began a partnership with university hospitals to begin sales senior fitness classes. We had our first one here on May 1st, and we had 9 attendees, and it was so popular that they asked for more classes, and I just got an email saying that they can move it up to 2 classes a week, or 2 classes a month, so that's really great. And that comes at no cost to the township. And then I do have an item for board approval. I have included in your packet a proposed contract with ODNR for lake management at McGuire Park. So this lake management will include patrols from ODNR, which I spoke with Roy about, and he had no issue with that. So if they were to manage this property, they would routinely walk the property and make sure that everybody was complying with the ODNR fishing laws. And then this would require people to have fishing licenses in order to fish in this park. And then they would also provide services for us, such as electroshocking of the pond to monitor the fish populations and give us recommendations if we did decide to pursue stocking, and then alert us to any health issues of the fish in the pond. And then this would also include us on the list of ODNR's managed properties, so any publication that includes fishing for them, we would be mentioned on that list.
Hey, Cassie, I'm really excited about you moving forward with this, so I'm going to make the motion that we approve the ODNR Lake Management Contract for McGuire Park.
Second.
It's amazing the benefit, because I did meet with Cassie, and the benefits that they provide are crazy. And it's good that gives us a little more professionalism to the whole setup. So I'm anxious for you to start working with them.
Yes.
Especially the electrocuting the fish. I want to watch that.
Not electrocuting.
I know.
It's a temporary stun. They'll be okay.
Yeah, I use that on my wife.
I did. I met with Curtis Wagner from ODNR, and he's actually a Talmadge resident who visits Brimfield frequently. So he personally is excited about the property. He says he sees a lot of potential there. And then I also wanted to, if I didn't say it already, this comes at no cost to the township. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. So they have more opportunities for people to fish in their area, and obviously more encouragement for people to buy fishing licenses. And then we get the added benefits of the exposure from ODNR and then the monitoring from their specialists.
Because we all took a walk over there, and boy, I'm just amazed at the beauty of that park.
Yes.
And now that you showed us the meadow, I mean, that meadow for years to come will be something great.
Yes.
So.
I know Sue's ready to go fishing back there, so.
I'm anxious to see what we have back there.
Yes.
You got about, what, 50 little fish?
Well, I'm ready to bluegill fish. I have to wait though till it gets open.
Okay. Sounds good.
Anything else? All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. And then that
Hey,
management.
Cassie, how soon would they start? I don't want to interrupt you, but.
I believe it says July on the contract. I'll clarify that.
Okay.
And then also, Nick noted that it needed to be notarized. I did contact Rochelle. She's available to come after the meeting and notarize that for you.
Okay.
And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Any questions for Parks and Rec?
Let's get that park open.
Yeah, that's the only question I had was, do we have an estimated time for the ribbon cutting on 6/7?
Whatever time anybody's available.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I was just putting notes down for put on my calendar.
Yeah, I'll put that
TBD
out there.
permit. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions for Parks and Rec? Hearing none, we'll go into information technology.
What's that?
Look at this fanciness. He's on the screen with us. Okay.
Oh, look at that nice picture.
It's a bit different, so I apologize for the new technology. It's really delayed, so that's not going to work in the future.
Can't hear you.
Hope to be better than this.
Can you use a microphone back there? Do you have the wireless mic? Because Sue can't hear you speaking from back there.
Trying to figure out the technology, and it's not working out exactly as I planned. I had a different mic. It wasn't working. That's better.
That's no problem. Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
I apologize. Apparently, I've got more
thank you,
technology to figure out. My update is one of the Artarma updates I was task I was given was to set up a cybersecurity training and awareness program. That program will roll out or start on Monday. And how that works is it is a web-based training program where I will make available a web-based series of, in this case, it'll be a series of 4 videos based on phishing. Phishing is an email is sent to you trying to get more information out of you, and usually it's done to compromise the employee to get more information from the employer, or information from the employee to compromise that employee's personal information. It is usually done with faking an email from someone else. We'll use an example of, a very common phishing attempt is, I am someone from your bank, I need to confirm this last transaction, please send me your credit card number, or, hey, I'm updating my auto deposit and payroll, please update my banking information. And unfortunately, phishing does is when successful can compromise a business or a township. So it is one of the biggest things that we want to be aware of. So on Monday, an email will be sent out inviting all township employees that have an email account to watch one of these, or watch the 4 videos. Each of the videos are less than 5 minutes in length. And we're asking that all employees do participate in this program. They receive that email. After that, the next phase is what we call the awareness, or the testing phase, is a email will be sent randomly to employees testing them. So we employ a company. It's actually Barracuda. It's the company that does our web and email filtering. They will attempt to compromise an employee. They will send a fake phishing email or something to target an employee to see if they fall for it. And that gives me the feedback to let me know, do I need to target better in training? Do I need to work one-on-one with certain employees? But it gives us the feedback to know if our program is working. So it is a two-pronged approach of training the employee and then testing a random pool of employees sometime, and that will happen within a 2-week period. So we have 1 week of training, and then there's a 2-week period where at some time during that 2 weeks, a series of emails will be sent randomly through, to employees. And then at the end of that 2-week period, I get a report back that says, this is the number of emails that were sent, these are the emails that were open, and these are if hopefully no one falls for it, it will then let me know if anyone fell for it, and then I can then work with that department head to either set up additional training or whatever is necessary. And then that program will be done quarterly. Since we're starting this mid-year, this year will be a little bit more rushed. The idea is to have it spread out and have one training program done per quarter and one testing period done per quarter, so I'm not bombarding employees with stuff. It'll be spread out through the year, and that is, again, a requirement from our insurance company. Any questions on that?
No, I just thank you for putting that program together. I mean, it's one of the biggest threats I think we have is technology related. And
it is, unfortunately, and even, one of the, I would say is a value add is it helps even from a personal standpoint. I unfortunately have helped people outside of my professional career with that fallen for phishing in their personal accounts. And it's unfortunate that there is people that make money off of stealing people's information, and it becomes very difficult to filter real emails from fake emails, or what seems like a very innocent question that you answer may turn out to be something that gives more information than you realize. One of the things that bugs me are these lovely internet surveys. You fill out these 20 questions to learn more about yourself. That's actually a phishing scheme, because what people don't realize is you use those same questions as your security checks for your password. What was your favorite dog's first name? What was your first teacher? What school did you go to? Well, those are your security check questions for your bank. So you're filling out this survey to figure out what your best personality is, your Hogwarts house, and turns out that that's actually a phishing scheme because they want to figure out your bank information. And then people don't understand how did my bank account get hacked? Well, you figure out your Hogwarts house. That's unfortunately that's how these people get in. They make these funny little schemes, or they pretend to be someone else, and they get information from you that may seem innocent, but they build on that to get into either your employer or your personal information. So it does. I think it offers values that protects the township, but it also then can also turn around and help you protect you from your personal stuff.
All right. Well, thank you for putting that together. Do we have any other questions for IT related to this? No. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next section. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
We have cemetery.
Yes, so just a reminder, we will have a Memorial Day ceremony on May 26th at 8 a.m. at Rustland Cemetery. We put out one video last week. We'll do a video each week for this month, just highlighting the ceremony and different areas of the cemetery. New business, requesting board approval to buy back 2 graves in Rustland Cemetery, section 1998, lot 296 Graves 1 and 2 from the original purchase price of $600. The buyback form, a copy of the deeds in OneDrive, you do have those as well. The buyers were in our township residents but are not going to be buried at Westland.
I'll entertain a motion to purchase back 2 graves in Restland Cemetery.
So moved.
All right, I'll second.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Anything else under cemetery?
That's it.
Okay, any questions for the cemetery? Okay, hearing none, we'll move into fiscal. John, floor is yours.
I have one item. It's actually the 2026 amounts and rates. It should be in your little packet there. These are the estimates from the county of what their estimated inside and outside millage amounts are going to be. So all we're doing is approving. We've got them. They're going to go on with the budget for 26. What I do is I just need a motion to pass those on to them.
Okay.
I'll make that motion, John.
Second.
Any discussion on the millage? These are just created by the county, correct, John?
All in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed. I do have a comment in the fiscal office. Just I want to be, the fiscal office is open to discuss at any time the township fiscal situation, answer any questions, maybe correct anything that may be brought out as incorrect. We do that. I am also requesting, and I know I've heard that we had a lot of people that are running for trustee this year. I would request that all of them, before they get out and start talking to everybody, maybe come to my office and sit down so they can understand the whole concept of Brimfield Township, and I'll answer any questions that they have, do any of that kind of stuff, show them anything they want. But I would like them to be educated before they start going out and talking to the staff or the township. So thank you for that.
John, under fiscal, just one question. $300,000 spent for the library. That came out of the
That
CARES
was
Act, correct?
the CARES, but yeah, from the
That wasn't just
COVID.
out of general fund?
Nope,
Okay.
it was not.
We had to use it or lose it.
And it was to get people back out after COVID. That's why the government gave it to us. So, and it was actually one of those that was approved for that, to get people back out. It was a library
Back into the
facility to get them out.
community and
Yep.
engage and out of the house.
Yep. And if we didn't use it, it would have been given away to somebody else. So,
Okay. Thank you, John. Appreciate
thanks.
that. All right. For the good of Brimfield Township, is there any other comments from the board up here before we move into executive session?
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
We just wrote a ticket at Mogador and Old Forge, so there's one this morning.
They wrote a ticket at Old Forge and New Street.
It took less than 1 hour.
All right, thank you for having patrol the area. All right, any other things for the good of the order? Hearing none, this date, what is the date today? Sorry, May 14th, 2025, trustee Nick Coy moves to convene an executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G, for the purposes of considering the following manners: discipline or the investigation of charges or complaints against the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. Need a second for executive session.
I will second that.
All right, executive session, I'm asking for this executive session just to be the board of trustees and the fiscal officer.
Okay.
Roll call?
All in favor? Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Executive session at 9:13.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, 9:13.
All right, we are out of executive session with no action. Any other things for the good of the order? Nope.
Yeah.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
We are adjourned at 9:56 a.m.
There we go. So now we go back.